Have you ever sat back in your chair, looked out the window, and thought, why did I ever let that bother me? Maybe it was what someone said behind your back. Maybe it was that missed promotion, that argument from 20 years ago, that one choice you wish you'd made differently. Or maybe, it's something as simple as feeling like you always had to prove yourself, to friends, to family, even to strangers who barely knew you. But now, you're in a different season of life. And something has shifted, hasn't it? You've reached a point where some of the things that once kept you up at night don't seem to matter so much anymore. The pressure. The comparison. The race. It's like a fog has lifted. You see the world differently. Clearer. Slower, but somehow, deeper. Turning 70 is more than just another birthday. It's not just candles and cake. It's a powerful doorway. A threshold that quietly whispers, you've made it this far. And now, you get to live by a different set of rules. And friend, let me tell you. The rules you used to follow? The ones that said you had to look a certain way, live a certain way, earn, prove, chase, please. They're not so important anymore. Not in this chapter. Because this chapter? This one is about peace. About wisdom. About choosing what truly matters, and learning to let go of what doesn't. And in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly that. 7 things that just don't matter anymore after 70. Things you might still be carrying, but probably don't need to. And as we go through them, you might find yourself nodding along, or maybe, realizing for the first time that it's okay to release what's been weighing you down. So, I invite you, come with me on this little journey of reflection. You've earned it. You've lived it. Let's make the most of what's ahead, by letting go of what no longer fits. Comment, I'm here, if you've felt this kind of shift, or if you're hoping to feel it soon. And if you're new here, welcome to Elderly Wisdom Guide, a space where we speak from the heart, about aging with grace, clarity, and peace. Let's get into it. Let's start with something almost all of us have done at one point or another. Trying to impress others. Remember those days? Back when you'd spend an extra hour picking out the right outfit. Or carefully wording what you'd say, just to make the right impression. Maybe it was for a dinner party, a family gathering, a job interview, or even just running into someone at the store. There was always that little voice in the back of your mind, what will they think? Take Margaret, for example. She's 72 now. And she told me something that stuck with me. She said, I used to dress to impress. Makeup perfect. Shoes tight. Hair sprayed stiff. All so people would think I had it all together. But now? She wears soft sweaters, shoes that don't hurt her feet, and the same cozy jeans she's had for years. She laughs and says, I don't dress for others anymore, I dress for me. And you know what? That's freedom. That's peace. Because the truth is, at a certain point in life, you realize that external validation, those nods of approval, those silent judgments, they just don't hold the same power anymore. You begin to see that the people who really matter, they don't care what brand you wear, how many wrinkles you have, or whether your clothes match. They care about your presence. Your kindness. Your honesty. Your warmth. But still, for years, decades even, we've been conditioned to believe otherwise. That we have to look a certain way. Be polished. Be proper. Be perfect. Because if we're not worthy of attention or respect. And that belief can be so hard to shake. But here's the beauty of aging, you've seen enough. You've lived enough. You know what really matters. And all that pressure to perform? It begins to fall away. So, if you find yourself choosing comfort over style, ease over expectations, peace over presentation, you're not letting yourself go. You're letting go of what was never yours to carry in the first place. There's something powerful about being able to say, "This is who I am. Take me or leave me." No apologies. No performance. No pretending. So, wear what feels good. Speak from the heart. Show up as your full, unpolished, beautiful self. You've spent enough of your life trying to impress others. Now is the time to live for you. And speaking of expectations, let's talk about the next thing that starts to lose its grip after 70, something we've all tried to chase, even if we didn't want to admit it. Trends. New gadgets, new slang, new diets, new ways to brew your coffee. Every week, something new is buzzing. I remember John, he's 72 now. But just a few years ago, at 68, he was trying to keep up with every new gadget his grandkids mentioned. He bought the latest smartwatch, tried out virtual reality goggles, even got on social media because someone told him it would keep him young. He said at first, it felt exciting. But after a while, all those notifications, updates, and passwords just made life louder. More complicated. More disconnected. By the time he turned 72, he took a deep breath, turned off the noise, and said, "I miss simple things, books, walks, a real conversation." And that, right there, is something age teaches us with quiet clarity. You don't have to chase the newest thing to be relevant. You don't have to speak the latest lingo or know every trending app to be wise. Your worth isn't in how up-to-date you are. It's in your presence. Your perspective. Your peace. See, there's this pressure in today's world. To stay plugged in, to prove we're still with it. But peace? Real peace? It often comes from unplugging. From choosing simplicity over speed. Stillness over stimulation. Connection over clicks. And there's no shame in that. You're not falling behind. You're choosing differently. You're choosing better. So here's the advice I'll share with you, from one old soul to another: embrace the tools that truly help you. Maybe that's a phone to keep in touch with family. Maybe it's a favorite podcast, a digital photo frame, or a good audiobook. But let go of the rest. You don't need to download the latest trend to stay meaningful. You already are. And speaking of meaning, let's talk about something we carry for far too long. Money. That worry. That chase. That voice that says, "What if I don't have enough?" Helen knows it well. She's 75 now. And for most of her life, she saved, stretched, planned, and pinched every penny. She'd stress over bills, always fearing she'd run out. But a few months ago, she told me something that nearly brought tears to my eyes. She said, "I spent so many years worrying about not having more. I forgot to enjoy what I already had." And now? Now she finds joy in simpler things. A garden that blooms every spring. A warm cup of tea with a good friend. A quiet afternoon where nothing needs to be done. Because somewhere along the way, you realize, wealth isn't in numbers on a screen. It's in moments. In memories. In the freedom to wake up and say, "I don't have to chase anymore." Yet for years, many of us were taught that success equals accumulation. More savings. More investments. More stuff. Even after retirement, that voice whispers, "You still need more." But do you? Or, do you need peace? Time? Laughter? Connection? At this stage of life, enough is a beautiful thing. Because time, now, is your most valuable currency. And you get to spend it how you choose. So don't worry if your bank account isn't bursting. Focus on what's stable, what's lasting. Because real richness? It's in the love you give, the joy you find, and the time you finally get to enjoy. Now here's one you might not expect. It sneaks in quietly, holds on tightly, and yet, when we release it, we feel incredibly free. Let's take a moment to talk about something many of us spent a lifetime wrestling with. What other people think. Tom knows this all too well. He's 74 now, but in his younger years, he says he'd second-guess everything. Every word he spoke at family dinners, every choice he made at work, every decision that might, just might, spark someone's judgment. He once told me, "I used to rehearse conversations in my head, just to make sure I didn't sound foolish. Now, I speak my truth, and I sleep better for it." That's the kind of wisdom age gives you. Because over time, you begin to understand that people will judge no matter what. Whether you're too loud or too quiet, too bold or too reserved, too traditional or too modern. There's always someone with an opinion. But here's the difference now, you no longer need their approval to feel whole. You've lived enough to know your values. You've made enough mistakes to grow strong. You've loved, lost, healed, and learned, and that earns you the right to speak freely and live honestly. Yet, we often carry that burden of judgment for decades. Worried about what the neighbors will say. What the family might whisper. How we'll be remembered by people who, truthfully, never took the time to understand us. But here's the truth, that's their burden to carry, not yours. You are not here to please everyone. You're here to be you. Fully, unapologetically, wonderfully you. And if someone doesn't like it, let that judgment stay with them. So go ahead, say what you mean. Dress how you like. Live how you choose. You've earned that freedom 100 times over. And once you stop worrying about what others think, you might find yourself letting go of another old burden, one that's tangled up in pride, in ego, and in the stories we tell ourselves. Career status. Titles. Job roles. Those letters next to our names that we used to hold onto so tightly. Let me tell you about Diana. She was once a respected manager at a well-known firm. Every day was full of meetings, decisions, and deadlines. And for years, that title, manager, director, boss, was her identity. It made her feel important. Seen. Valued. But now? At 76. She says her happiest moments are spent in her backyard, with dirt on her hands, planting sunflowers and tomatoes. No agenda. No emails. Just peace. Because with age comes the beautiful realization, you are so much more than your resume. Your worth isn't measured in promotions or plaques. Not anymore. What matters now is how you spend your time. Who you share it with. And how you feel at the end of the day. Yet society makes it hard to let go. We're told that success means always doing more. But maybe success now means doing less, and feeling more. Feeling joy. Feeling calm. Feeling present. So, if you're no longer the boss, that's okay. If you've stepped back from the role you once held, that doesn't mean you've lost value. It means you're evolving. Because now's the time to explore the roles that truly feed your soul: artist, gardener, storyteller, friend, grandparent, peace seeker. Those titles might not go on a business card, but they'll fill your heart in ways a job never could. And with that freedom, of no longer proving yourself, comes another release. One that's deeply personal, sometimes painful, but absolutely necessary. Let's talk about something that lives quietly inside so many of us. Regret. Those choices we made decades ago. Things we said, or didn't say. Moments that still flicker in our minds, late at night when the world is quiet. Gloria knows what that's like. She's 73 now. For years, she carried the weight of a decision she made in her 30s. It wasn't something she spoke about often, just a silent shame she tucked away, thinking it would fade on its own. But one morning, over tea with her daughter, she shared it. She let it out. And in doing so, she finally forgave herself. She told me later, "I've never slept better in my life. It was like a stone rolled off my chest." That's what carrying regret feels like, a weight you don't always notice until it's gone. It can sit in your bones. It can steal your joy. And sometimes, it can shape how you see yourself. But here's the truth that often gets lost: emotional baggage can weigh heavier than any physical burden. And forgiveness? It doesn't need permission. It doesn't need perfect timing. It doesn't even need anyone else to agree with it. It just needs you. You deciding. Today, right now, that you don't want to carry this hurt any longer. There's a common misconception that healing is something for the young. That past a certain age, it's too late to make peace. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Healing doesn't have an expiration date. You can be 50, 70, 90, and still decide that you deserve peace. Because you do. You deserve to wake up without the echoes of old pain. You deserve to laugh without the shadow of shame. You deserve to forgive yourself. And if you're ready, to forgive others, too. No, it won't change the past. But it will change how you live the rest of your days. And as freeing as that is, there's one final thing many of us wrestle with, quietly, deeply, and that's fear of what's ahead. Fear of aging. Fear of dying. Fear of the unknown. Robert used to feel that. He's 78 now. And he told me there was a time he would lie awake wondering, how many days do I have left? But something shifted when he started living each morning with intention, not as a countdown, but as a gift. He started taking morning walks, just to feel the breeze. He began calling old friends just to say hello. He laughed more. He worried less. He didn't stop aging, none of us do, but he stopped fearing it. Because here's what age teaches us: the future may be uncertain, but this moment, right now, is full of life. We're taught to see aging as decline. But what if it's not? What if it's the season of reflection, of depth, of gratitude? A time to appreciate the sunrise you can see, the meal you can taste, the voice on the other end of the phone you can still hear. Yes, the body may slow. Yes, the mirror may change. But your heart, your wisdom, your soul, they grow richer, wider, fuller. So don't spend these years fearing the end. Spend them loving the middle, the now, the everything in between. Because fear shrinks the present. But peace expands it. And maybe that's the greatest gift of all, not knowing what's ahead, but choosing to make today beautiful anyway. Letting go. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's not. We spend decades chasing things we thought mattered: titles, approval, a perfectly tidy home, a reputation built brick by brick. And we hold on tight, because we believed those things were the foundation of a good life. And in many ways, they served a purpose. They helped us build. They helped us provide. They helped us grow. But now you're in a different season. A wiser one. A quieter one. A season where clarity finally arrives, like a soft light at the end of a long tunnel. You start to see the things you used to worry over constantly. They've lost their grip. And it's not because you've stopped caring. It's because you've started living differently. Living deeper. More truthfully. See, there's a powerful shift that happens after 70. You begin to understand that letting go is not about giving up. It's about choosing differently. Choosing peace over pressure. Joy over judgment. Moments over milestones. What once felt like loss, stepping back from your career, changing your routines, even seeing your reflection age, it starts to feel like freedom. You're not bound by anyone else's version of success anymore. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to be what you were. You just get to be you. So, here's something you can do tonight. Take out a piece of paper. Write down one thing you're ready to let go of. Just one. Maybe it's the need to be liked. Maybe it's the voice in your head that still says, you should have done better. Maybe it's a regret you've carried far too long. Write it down. Fold the paper. And then, if it feels right, tear it. Burn it. Tuck it away in a drawer. Whatever feels like release. You might be surprised how light you feel afterward. Because the truth is, you're not alone in this. Millions of people, right now, are learning that aging isn't the end. It's not a slow fade into irrelevance. It's not a countdown to silence. It's a transformation. Into someone who doesn't stress about impressing. Someone who doesn't need to chase the next trend. Someone who knows that enough is a gift, not a limitation. It's the becoming of your truest self. And if you felt unsure, if you felt like no one else talks about this shift, know this, there are others just like you, watching this video, nodding their heads. Smiling softly. Breathing easier. Because finally someone is saying what they've been feeling. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not less than. You are arriving. Fully. Gently. Bravely. And that is a beautiful thing. So, let's take a breath and gently look back at what we've uncovered together today. To recap, the 7 things that no longer hold weight after 70, the things that used to feel so urgent, so defining, and yet now seem distant, they are impressing others. Because what truly matters now is comfort, authenticity, and joy, not appearances or approval. Keeping up with trends. Because peace lives in simplicity, not in the next big thing. Accumulating wealth. Because beyond a certain point, the real riches are time, presence, and love. What people think. Because you've earned the right to be fully, unapologetically you. Career status or titles. Because your soul is not tied to a job, it's fed by meaning, relationships, and purpose. Past regrets. Because it's never too late to forgive yourself and find healing in the present moment. And the fear of aging or death. Because each day is a gift. And the unknown can be met with grace, not fear. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these have you personally let go of? Or maybe you're still holding on, working through it day by day. That's okay, too. Your story, your quiet breakthrough, your honest reflection, it could be the very thing someone else needs to hear today. So drop a comment below and share a little piece of your heart. This isn't just a video, it's a space for connection, and your words matter. And if this conversation touched something in you, if it felt like a warm, familiar voice reminding you that you're not alone, then I gently invite you to like this video and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Here, we honor the journey of aging, not as a decline, but as a sacred transformation. A time to grow wiser, love deeper, and live more freely than ever before. And we'll keep showing up, day after day, with more reflections, more stories, and more guidance for the path ahead. So, thank you for spending these moments with us. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being you. Wherever you are in your journey, stay strong. Stay wise. And stay open. Because your best years, they may not be behind you. They might just be right in front of you. I'll see you in the next video.